Hi guys. Oh, I'm so excited to bring you this beautiful chat with Joanne Hawker. So Joanne and I met on Instagram and I was like, Joanne, I'd love to work with you. I feel like we could do something really cool with Substack. What do you think? And so we've been chatting backwards and forwards about Substack. Joanne hadn't been on Substack before, so it was really good for me to understand somebody come into the platform with that creative eye, with that design background and receiving the platform as it is, a platform of multitudes, a social media, an email service provider, a publication, beautiful online magazine. It's got all of that about it. So we've just spent some time working through what would be the most useful things to talk to you guys about as you are DIY branding up your Substack publication. So there are some things that can be really helpful to enhance the experience. There are some things not to do. We're going to talk about contrast, and we're going to kind of walk through the things that I've done and made happen. And then now I've got a bit more time, the things that I'm going to work with Joanne on to enhance. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's really useful. We're going to keep it super chilled. There will be links followed up underneath the video as well. So don't worry if you miss anything, it'll all be there. Welcome, Joanne. Nice to see you.
Hiya, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
You're so welcome. And we were just chatting before, so we are in this space of like intense motherhood, jumping on, doing the things, and that's been very much my journey with Substack, like finding time in the windows to make it happen. And I am really proud of what I've created, but I also really want to work with you and really want to create something that feels more cohesive and also feels like really exciting and really represents me and my brand. So I am excited to talk to you more, and this is us like meeting for the first time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in.
Fab. And so, can you just tell everybody a little bit about who you are in the world and the work that you do, just so they've got that background as well?
Yeah, so I'm a freelance graphic designer, but I also have online shops where I design and make special occasions greetings cards. I make bags, and things like that, so like little gifts. But I also design for licensing. So I also got some cards on Thoughtful, Moonpig, Funky Pigeon, and a few others like that. So I do a bit of everything, really.
Oh, so nice. And I definitely have been aware of your work for a few years through something called Meet the Maker. I definitely joined in with it a few years ago, and I think it was a real permission slip for me to own what I do as a creative who also writes as a maker. So I'm not like a professional like maker, like I don't make things to sell, but I definitely make things. Like I've made journals, I love bookmaking, like I love all of that stuff. And so for me, being able to be part of that world and be inspired by everybody else was so gorgeous. And it was that real permission slip that we can make in the way that we feel good about. So, yeah, thank you for making
Yeah.
that gorgeous program. Does it run every year?
Yeah, it's every March. So it's March Meet the Maker. I usually release like prompts and things in February, but it's just a good excuse to talk about yourself. Because one thing I noticed about makers and myself, especially, is I don't tend to talk about things that I make. And I'm not very good at like plugging things. So that was just an excuse to give people permission to say, look, you need to talk about yourself and what you make and what you do and why you do it and everything like that. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a beautiful permission slip, isn't it? Because we move on as well, like we evolve year on year. So to be able to like have that set of fresh prompts, and I don't know about anybody else, but I just struggle to know what to post on socials. Like I end up just doing a B-roll and then telling people about what my offers are. Like I do struggle to know like what do people want to know, what's interesting. Whereas long form on Substack, it comes really easily to me. Like I can spill out into a long form essay or a long form post. Like I can write it in half an hour and feel really proud of it. So I think sometimes just the way we come to platforms, whether it's, the visuals or the writing, or we need to find a blend of the two, can be a really interesting thing to up level on, to give ourselves permission to be a rookie and like try things out and not like things and fall out with them. It's all spacious and we've got time. So we're going to have a look at my Substack. I'll share my screen and then I'm going to walk through with Joanne her opinions of like where I've got it to and some thoughts that she's got about some of the design elements that we could look at doing together. Okay, so there we go. So this is Sparkle on Substack. This is my membership hub, and it's also a place for free Substack education articles. I've tried lots of different things over the 2 years with this space. The pink and the green is inspired by The Wizard of Oz, and Return to Oz, like childhood favorite, but also it's just sort of keeps the magic for me. When I open this up, this feels like a really positive space to be. I didn't want it to be corporate in any way. Like I wanted it to feel really friendly and approachable. And I really wanted to have that sort of interest of like, why sparkle? Like, what does she mean? Like I wanted people to go deeper with that stuff. So where I've got it to is I have got a logo here and I've got this word mark. They're not particularly synced up because the word mark was really tricky to get the right size. And so I played around for ages to try and get it to actually fit and not go really small. And then the logo was just something that I liked on Canva, and I wanted to have the microphone there because I do use my voice a lot in the publication. So I do podcasting, I'll do voice notes, like it's called the Embodied Spark. So it's like a Monday pep talk. And then I also go live on Substack. So I wanted to have that element that it's not just writing, that it's everything. And then this baby pink color that I use, I really like the contrast of that with the green and then with the little sparkle emoji that I use a lot as well. Across the top here, it is a little bit cluttered, and it's because different people have a different purpose for like clicking. So some people want to be in the A to Z library, some want to be in membership or diamond membership, and others are just looking for the link for the call. So it's as clear as I could make it, but I still haven't always like loved it. I'm like, oh, could I make that clearer? But the only options we've got is text and emoji for that. And then as we go down, obviously this is just how I've organized it. So these are just some different sections that people can click into to view more of the topics, and get to the place that they want to get to. The Make Money on Substack section. Obviously, you'll see there's a lot of like pink, gold, sparkle. There's an illustration that I commissioned here that says joy that I really love. This is my old branding. So it definitely needs a bit of a zhuzh up, but I always try and keep the pink and the gold and the green and just try and sort of have a bit of balance and a bit of interest about it. I don't hate it, but it's not like super, super cohesive. And then for Embodied Sparks, I usually just use the logo on those podcast episodes and the same for live chat. So if I had more time and more headspace, I think I probably would use a different logo for live chats to Embodied Sparks, for example. And then 12 Chapters Club is a pop-up club that I'm running this year. That's right at the bottom. So there's a lot in there. Like this is holding a lot. And this is just the home page. When we click into posts, there's more that we'll do, but we'll just pause there because I've literally just given Joanne a whole download there. What do you reckon, Joanne?
There's a lot to look at, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a
But
lot
no,
to look
I
at for
actually really
sure.
like your the green on pink.
Mm.
It's a nice combination. No, I do love that. Um, but that logo in the top left corner, is that the biggest that you'll see it in that space on Substack?
Yeah, it's tricky because what happens is in the app, it'll display slightly bigger, and they're changing it all the
Ah,
time. So they've like just made it in the app where it actually shrinks down, but it pulls through the color palette. So when people see something green, they'll be like, that's Claire. So
yeah.
there is that like signal to people who are using the app. But up there, yeah. So I've said to people in the past, like, if you haven't got a logo, don't worry about making one. Just use a really nice photo of yourself. So on my other publication on Creatively Conscious, I just have a photo of me, like this is me inside of my camper van. So even though I have my icon here and that links all of my publications, that's like my profile avatar. On here, I don't have a logo. I just have like another photo of me. So
Yeah.
it's a bit awkward. It's fine, but that's how we've like I've taught people to manage it. I'm like, you can choose. So going back in, it is really
Yeah,
tiny.
because if I hadn't seen that logo a bit further down, I might not necessarily know what it's trying to say and what that
Mm.
pink bit is behind it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
could
even know
potentially
if it needs the words on, Like I don't know whether
no,
if it was just the logo, it says sparkle on rather than sparkle on Substack because that's like one of my taglines, like that we can all sparkle on. Um, so yeah, that's like the biggest words, but you still can't read it. Like it's not the
no,
opticians, is it?
no, it's not. I'd be tempted, like given the space, just
Mm,
to make something a bit more clean
yeah.
and take the words off. So you could have like you like to use your sparkle emojis, like you could
Mm,
make a green and pink version of that to go up there instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
or just make some little icons. I saw when I was having a browse of other Substacks, there was somebody, I can't remember what they're called now, something home. And I think
Mm,
they had a little flower icon in one of the colours that they use in their word mark.
hmm.
And that was quite nice because it's still, you knew it was them.
Yes.
And it still pulled through all the colours and everything. And that was quite nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And also like the word mark, I'm guessing that's as big as it can possibly be in that space. I don't think I've seen anybody with a bigger header than that.
Yeah, it's really tricky. So we do get the dimensions from Substack, and I have a Canva template so people can do that. But depending on how many letters they are, it seems to be that you have to stretch it right out to the template.
Okay.
And then when you've stretched it right out, it goes in. But if anyone tries to put like an image or anything under there, it shrinks down smaller. It's so quirky. And so
Oh.
I've worked with a couple of people that do a lot of word marks for clients, and they're just like, I cannot get this to do what I need it to do. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big. But for me, it seems to be about the font. So when I've done my tests, I've been like, okay, I'm going to try a font that like I can stretch out and a font that I can't stretch out. And then it'll just upload really tiny if you can't stretch the font out to the whole corners of the
Yeah.
design. So it took me ages to get that one. And it, like I said, I've never loved it, but I don't hate it. And it's like I wanted something that was obvious, for mine. There's a lovely illustrator. I'll get hers, Beth Spencer, and she just has hello on hers, which is very sweet. So she runs Introvert Drawing Club. She's so
Oh, I
lush,
like
and she
that.
just has a little hello there. So hers hasn't uploaded too small, but if I had that in Canva, I think, and I uploaded it would go really tiny, and it is just a really weird, quirky thing.
So I'm wondering then if you make your, so the dimensions they give you for the word mark,
Mm,
if you put the max amount of dimensions onto a canvas
hmm.
and then sample the same color, exact same color background and fill that background and then put your word mark on top, that should then still max out the space and shouldn't
Yeah.
shrink it.
So we could definitely give that a go. I know when people have put a contrasting color and they've filled the space, it's gone small, but it might
Hmm.
be that they didn't have the right size or something. Because I've seen them before
Yeah.
where it'll be words, but it'll have a contrasting color behind. And I've obviously downloaded mine as transparent. So yeah, we could definitely give it a go.
Yeah, we can definitely figure that out. One thing as well that I found, I think it's when I was trying to do my portfolio, whenever I uploaded something, I think it either went fuzzy or too small. So
Mm,
we uploaded it at double the size,
mm,
and then it was crisp and perfect. So that could
okay.
be another thing to try. I mean, it might not work here, but it could be
Yeah,
an option.
we could experiment. And then what do you think about the font in general, Joanne? So obviously the logo font is like that lovely bubble text, and then I've got this, it's a different font, and then Substack give us 5 fonts to use. So like this one is like an Open Sans, I think.
Yeah.
Um, I obviously it's difficult, isn't it? Because I'm trying to be like, okay, like the bubble font is like the header, and then there's this other one that's really clear to read. Am I overthinking it? Like, is it fine, or would you change that?
So where's the bubble font? Sorry, is that the one that's in your
Yeah, the
logo?
logo is like a bubble font.
I think it's fine to have more quirky fonts in like your logos, your word marks, and any imagery kind of thing. But I
Mm-hmm,
think where it says like where you've got it, the first post at the top, where it
mm.
says, is that your open sans? But Claire, well enough.
Yeah, so you choose a font with Substack. There's 5 to choose from, and
Yeah.
then it pulls through. So like when I click onto that, it's always going to be the same on every single
Yeah.
post.
Well,
It
I think
wouldn't.
that's
Yeah,
completely fine because you want
yeah,
it to be readable and you don't
hmm,
want quirky fonts that are problematic for people to try and read.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'd say keep the quirky ones for
yeah,
logos, word marks,
yeah.
and email headers and things like that.
Lush. Great. Okay, well, we can see with the header, like I'm like I said, like I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not like in love with it, but I think it's cool. Like it's as creative as it's going to be. And then the next bit that we were going to talk about is the social preview. So Substack allows you to pull a screen grab from a video, which is what's pulling through here, but then you can also upload an image. So this one was when we did our vision boarding at the start of the year. So I had a little image there. And mine is it's very like makeshift DIY. And I do sometimes feel like, oh, I wish I just had a way that I did those, like a formula to follow. Because you can see with that one, it's got like some green text at the bottom, it's got white round it. It does clash a little bit. And then sometimes these are pulling through like based on other things, like this is a screen grab telling people how to do a tutorial thing. A refund policy, I've just sort of stuck the logo on. So I am at the stage now where it's like if I sort of rejuvenate all of this, it would be really nice to have it where it's really obvious what things are. Either the image sort of matches the text and it's just obvious, like this one, for example, it's called the Substack calculator, but that image is just a lovely glittery image, so it
Yeah.
could be helpful to like make the image true to what the title is and just so people when they're skim reading or skim, scrolling, they can be like, oh, there's Claire's calculator. I need to use that again.
Yeah. So with the cover images, do you have different sections? So obviously this is like your make money one.
Mm,
And then sorry, I can't
yeah,
remember what else
so
you said you had.
so you get to put, if it's a section, you get to put
Yeah.
a little bit of text here and then a logo here. So obviously, again, just used a photo of me not looking at the
Yeah.
camera, which has got nothing to do with this whatsoever. Um, but yeah, that's about the size that you would get them. So you could have something there. And I've
Yeah.
got the same with Diamond members. So I've just got a
Okay,
little
right, I
logo
see.
that I've
Yeah.
made there. Yeah.
So you could make yourself some templates
Mhm.
for your covers. You could just put them together in like Canva. Actually, let me send you the link now. This is quite out of date now. I don't think I've updated it in a while. This is what I did for my blog.
Mhm.
Send you this. Where is the chat gone? I've lost it. Here we go, chat. So what I did is I made myself blog covers that had a photo.
Oh,
There you
nice. Yeah.
that kind of related to what I was going to be posting inside, but also
Mm,
had the writing on top. I mean, I'm not
mhm,
saying make an image with writing on, but you can see how you can make it a bit more consistent.
mhm,
Or yeah, so you don't really need to even split it in half. You could just have a border around the edge or
mm.
something like that. Or if you're stuck for images and you're not sure um what to post, like have you used Unsplash before?
Yeah, so the Unsplash library is tethered to Substack. So,
Oh,
yeah, so when we make a
yeah.
post, we can just search Unsplash and put it straight in. It takes seconds.
Because they started doing illustrations now.
Oh, cool. I didn't know
'Cause,
that.
yeah, I started having a browse thinking, oh, where can we get illustrations? And then I saw that they had a new illustration library.
I wonder if that pulls through. I'll have a little look, um, and see. Got that one.
Um, there's that other person that I sent you. Is it MKT1? Who
Mm,
also does they've made templates for theirs and
okay.
that's extremely consistent.
Yeah.
It might be a bit too much, but as an example of like how you can do it.
So I just typed illustration into Unsplash just to see what comes up, and there are some bits and bobs coming up, which it was just photos, I think. So that's cool, isn't it? Um, and you can put loads of detail in here. Like if you want a pink cat, it'll probably find you one.
Oh.
It didn't. It didn't, but
No.
sometimes it does. Okay, so that's possible. So we'll stick that pink chair in for now. Um, great.
Or you
Yeah.
could
So
always make yourself some icons
yeah.
that'll be consistent for
hmm
like money posts or there's lots of different ways that you could do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think oh May's fallen down. I think yeah, it's good to sort of have something that is just the way that you do it, isn't it? And then you don't have to second guess. You can kind of cut your decision making time down and just know that okay, I'm going to go to Canva and I'm going to have this template and it's going to be half picture, half text or whatever it is, or it's going to be a full cover that explains what it is. I did
Yeah.
at the start of the year, I did have like this lovely ice skating lady that I found in Canva, like an illustration, and I just changed it to my brand colors and I quite like that. And I was like, oh, I think I'll do more of that. And then I've done no more of that. But it's always the way, isn't it? So yeah, so this one that you shared, Joanne, this one is got all of this like professional brand cohesion. So they've obviously got a color palette that they work with, and then they've got these covers um on there with the different colors and stuff like that. I've got that nice logo as well. So what I always say to folks is for me and the way that I teach Substack with like really high engagement and depth of connection, it's about the human blend, the personal and the professional blended. So this is a really professional newsletter.
Mhm.
I'm struggling to find the person behind it. There she is. So yeah, so she is there, but she's not very visible on her
No.
Substack publication, which is totally fine. Like she's doing really well. She's got thousands of paid subscribers, but I think she's probably built that off platform and then brought it into here.
Yeah.
When people are building on platform through organic growth, like the person-centered stuff is really important, which is my way, really why mine looks the way it does. And it's like you'll always see photos and video of me pulled through.
No, I
Um,
like that. It's more personal.
yeah, and then with Emma Gannon, who I always use as an example, lovely Emma, she also does that as well. So she'll always have a photo of her in this top five. She has this really strong illustration, and I really like it because it's like bold, boundaried, creative. It's like everything that Emma is, and a really lovely welcome as well. So she's got her branding, she's got a lovely word mark there, and she's just got hi on the text of the logo, so it still matches with the hyphen. And then when you click over to our website, it's all the same color palette. So the yellow comes through, another, again, like really bold picture of her, and then our books and all that sort of stuff. So it is very cohesive, isn't it, across the two? And it's always really obvious it's Emma when I get one of our emails.
Yeah, so I think it's the same when you go to her socials.
Mm,
It's all pulled together. It's really
yeah.
nice. It's like you know it's her without knowing it's come from her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And then the Slow Sunday Scroll, which I've read like most weeks, I think, for years now. This is also a really nice image. You know, she is working, but she's chilled about it. And it's a slow Sunday scroll. Like it's like you can read it with the papers. Like it's telling you everything about what the newsletter on Sundays is and does. And I really love that about the image. So it's not random in any way. She's like reinforcing our brand and saying, like, yes, it's professional and I've been doing the work for you, but you can read it with the papers and stuff. I really love that.
No, I do love her page. I like the mix of illustration and photos as well.
Yeah, and
She's
so
got a
she
really good
seems to
mix.
have illustration a lot. Like when she was abroad earlier in the year, she was like, yeah, like look, there's a gorgeous one there, like which is a different one. I've not seen that one before. She just seems to have tons and tons. She did one of like being away. Sometimes they're just a little graphic. Um, yeah, I think it was like a New York skyline. Like this is really nice as well. You know, and what's really beautiful about thinking this stuff through is you can be really unique with this. Like, yes, there are a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff out there on Canva and Unsplash and stuff, but Emma is commissioning illustrators to do this. Like this is a person or group of people doing this for us. So you wouldn't be able to like have this. It is uniquely her, you know, it wouldn't make sense for it to
Yeah.
be anybody else's.
But there
Um,
is always the option of going on something like Creative Market or
okay.
Etsy,
Hmm.
where you can purchase huge packs of clip art for
Yeah.
a whole variety of different things. And then that would all be consistent if it's all the same style and all the same
Hmm.
colors and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also really beautiful, you know, when this lands and you get this beautiful piece of art in your inbox. Like, it's lovely to think about. I always say to people, like, how you make your reader feel, you know? So with Emma's, it's always like uplifted, soothed, like comfortable, you know, all of that stuff is a like a powerful brand. And so I think it's really worth thinking about those images that you can bring into people's worlds and how you can uplift them and stuff when you do use those. Any image that you put at the top of a post will automatically be the social preview, but you can change that at the point of posting. So if you wanted someone to receive the first image and then there was another image that you wanted for social preview, you just change that on the publication page before you send it out. So yeah.
Yeah. On that
Um,
image,
mm,
I noticed the magnifying glass came up.
oh yeah.
Does it go anywhere if she clicks on it? No. God, it's huge.
Yeah, so
That,
we were chatting about this, weren't we? Because obviously you've
mm,
had to protect your brand and there's been like lots recently I've seen about people protecting their art and protecting their brand and like lots of huge companies like ripping people's work off and selling it on. It's awful. And so we were talking about how you set this up. So if you are an artist or a photographer, that you know that people aren't going to take these images and use them as their own. Because I could just screenshot that and put it in my Substack really easily. Like
Yeah.
obviously there's a bit of a like professional code of conduct with us all, but the internet at large does not have that. So while we're having a lovely time on Substack, it's all great, isn't it? But if we're setting up and future-proofing our artwork, what should we do?
Yeah, so this is a problem that I've had quite a lot actually. Oh, let's see if you don't there. That is really high res. So you can
Hmm.
see at the top,
Hmm.
that looks like it could be 199. Oh, yeah, that's quite big. So you could easily pull that off, save it, print it, or sell it, or
Yeah.
some awful thing. Because I've had to disable right clicks on my Shopify account
Mm.
um, because I've had my images stolen and people are selling them on. So one thing I did notice on Substack is how easy it is to pull the pictures off. So what I'd be tempted to do is not upload the highest resolution you can. I would be tempted to
Mm.
find out what the smallest is that you can get away with
Hmm.
and make sure it's only 72 dpi
Hmm.
um, to stop people from being able to. I mean, you're not going to be able to stop it altogether, but you can make it a little bit more difficult so that if
Yeah.
somebody does download a low res image and they try and stretch it right out, it's going to look rubbish rather
Mm.
than letting them download the high res and doing whatever they want with it.
Mm. You can actually, which I think is really cool. I'll show you. And this is within Substack now, and nobody uses it, but let's just use this one of me and my daughter to show you. This is blurry because my mum t took it, like bless her, I'm always like, get photos of me and my daughter, and then like she's like, I don't know what she's zoomed in or what she's done. But basically, when you do this, you can edit the image and it'll bring it up. This is just Substack's editor. And then you can put a sticker on it that is, this is like my logo. So imagine this is my logo because I've used a photo of me, but you could like use your own logo in the bottom
Oh
corner
yeah.
as well. So on Sparkle, it would come up as the Sparkle on Substack logo. So if I'd commissioned an artwork, I would obviously credit the artist, but then I could also put the Sparkle on Substack logo. And then they've got some other bits and bobs there, like I could stick the Substack thing on it, at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, people can still crop it and whatever. But yeah, I do think that is interesting, isn't it? And then we've got annotations, so you can add um shapes and stuff if you're doing screenshots and you want to point out how to do something, you can annotate it that way and stuff as well. So it is quite useful. And I've gone through that in all of my courses, like all of the different things you can do with that picture tool. So we'll not do it now, but maybe for protection, that is something
Yeah, it's
that
just something
people
to
might
think
want to
about.
use. Yeah. And that'll just save now automatically. Great. Okay, so we'll click back over. So we've talked about logo, word mark. We've talked about social preview and like some ideas around that, and maybe looking at like unique illustrations and where to get those, whether you want to commission them or buy them from Etsy and all of that gorgeous stuff. If there was like a repetition, so say with the Make Money on Substack one, if
Hmm.
there was like a repetition, so people were like recognizing, oh, okay, like this is another Make Money on Substack one, or even the Embodied Sparks, okay, it's another pep talk from Claire. Do you think that's okay to just have the same image and it's like a collection then? Or would you like
Yeah.
variate the color palette, or would you put something extra on it, like the number or something? What would you do with that?
Well, being me, I'd probably like the repetition. I would
Yeah.
like knowing that it's a collection. And then if
Mm,
I really enjoyed that, I can say, oh, there's another one. I'll go and listen to that one
mm,
now. Because
hmm.
it's in like,
Hmm.
it's like a set
Yeah, a set.
rather
Yeah.
than having to
Hmm.
try and work your way through and figure out what's what, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's that brand cohesion piece as well. So if people are new to your world and you're saying embodied spark number 5, they'll be like, oh, well, there must be 4 others then. I'll go ahead and go and find those. So
Yeah.
really thinking about the experience of subscribers that are new into your world, and then maybe people that have been distracted and been away, and then the people that have been there a longer time, and just being given them that opportunity to dive deeper into your work, I think is really helpful. Okay. And then so inside a post, I usually do this little squiggle that I designed years ago. Where's it gone? Here we go. this is really random how I get to this. Everyone has their own ways. So it's like just a little page break. And so I give people in the welcome email when they join Substack, my Sparkle on Substack membership place, I give them the word mark templates, and there's like 108 for them to play around with. So it's like versions of this basically that just allows a bit of a pause for the reader. It breaks up the text. It gives that little bit of branding, like I recognize that that's Claire's work. So mine, the accent color like matches with the subscribe buttons, and that's all one thing. Joanne and I were talking before we recorded about how people like to click things. And so with any of these things, you would just literally add the link tool and then anything is clickable and that's fine. So I'd ask Joanne, what, first of all, what do you think about that in terms of a page break? Would you be doing anything else? Should we design custom buttons? Like, what do you think about it all? So I guess we could head there next.
Yeah, so I love page breaks. Like you said, it's a good place to rest your eyes and stop and just break everything up a bit. So it's not just a
Mm,
huge body of text,
hmm
but it's also it's a good opportunity to pull in a few more elements from your brand if you want to. They don't need to be anything complicated, but maybe it's just something rather simple that relates to you and just fits with the overall thing that you're going for. So like you could have your squiggle, you could have a dotted line, you could have a tiny little illustration, or even just a simple small block of color. But keeping it within your color scheme will obviously help with your consistency and just to keep
hmm
things pulled together.
Nice. Great. And then what you guys can do is you can set up a template in drafts. So if you know that every post is going to have a page break and a subscribe now button, then you would just set that up as a template. I also talk to people about reintroducing themselves regularly at the top or at the bottom. So if you wanted to set that up and just duplicate that post every time you were ready, especially if it's like, like Emma's Sunday scroll or something, she'll just have that set up as a template. She won't be setting it up again every time. So that's a real opportunity there for you as well. With the moving images, like I've spoken about this before, I don't like them. I don't like Giphies. Like I'm neurodivergent and I find that my eyes cannot cope if someone puts a Giphy with some still text. I'm fine with them on WhatsApp, but on a long form like this, it's a big no-no for me. I don't think it's accessible. I don't have much proof around that other than it moving too quickly can be hard for people with dyslexia or with epilepsy as well. You've got to be really careful, but I just think if you're tempted to make things move, you're going to have to do that really slowly and then also make sure that you're like hitting all of the accessibility frameworks as well, because it is a lot for people when that happens.
Yeah, I find them really distracting. I
Yeah,
don't
I just
like
want
them
to
when I
click off
set
the
them.
page. I think our eyes are tired enough, aren't they? So,
Yeah. Seriously.
yeah. So then we were going to talk a little bit about contrast. So Joanne really helpfully has found some tools for us, and I will obviously link them below. So when I am coming to contrast, and I did do a post about accessibility, which I'll also link, what we need to be doing is making sure that the text is readable, and we all have a different way with that. So some things that bother me wouldn't bother the person next to me. However, there are some accessibility frameworks and there are some just good rules around branding and how things work. So even though people say pink and green should never be seen, here I am and it's worked fine. And there are other ways with that. So we've got this lovely space here, which is called a contrast grid, and Joanne's going to like help us to understand how we work that out for ourselves. Basically, don't put yellow and white together is like the main one, isn't it?
Yeah. We could even paste your colors in, see what it says.
Oh, okay. So what would I do there then?
Right, so if you just delete all that text,
Okay. Oops. Yeah.
and then do you have the color codes for what's on
Yeah.
your
I just
page?
normally get them from the color pick eyedropper, so I'll just where's it gone? There. So this is just a Google Chrome plugin that I have. And then I always just do it like this every time. So copy that, go back into here. Oh, escape. You've got to escape because it wants to grab the color there. So that's that one. Do I have to put a hashtag on it or not?
Oh, I'm not sure. Hit enter, see what it does. There
Yeah,
we go.
it's
And
got it.
then pop your text color on there as well.
Um, so do you think I should grab the green or just the
You can grab
black?
all the colors and then it will pull them up
Okay.
into a nice big chart.
Okay. Oops. Oh, there. Is it that or not? it's got the pink again. Keeps moving. There we go. Copy and then put it in here. There, it's got that one. And then the other one would be the bright pink, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And then also probably your main body of text color as well.
Yeah, and we can't change that on Substack, but I think it is helpful, isn't it, to sort of know. Although, actually, I think it does. If someone has like a navy blue background, I think it puts the text white. So it is
Oh,
good to do
okay.
this. Yeah,
Oh, so
I've
does it do
seen.
it automatically?
No, you can't change the text color, but if you have a navy blue background, it'll. Oh, I think it's just got rid of the others now. Oops. Oh no. Wonder if I'd press undo. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it does it automatically, I think. Right, so we've got them, and then we're going to get the black as well, which is Substack's black. It looks more like a brown, but
Yeah,
okay.
it does look brown.
Maybe it is brown. Maybe after all this time, I've been like, yeah, that's black. Oh, it's not brown. It's not black at all. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so that's really cool. So what have we got? So the red ones obviously are do not pass. So you wouldn't be able to have your light pink on the darker pink or the
Mhm.
green, or the saying that the brown's not particularly well, yeah. But no, hang on, the brown, that is a pass. Just my eyes, but I find that a little bit difficult to read, but it passes. Oh, light?
The green on the brown doesn't pass, does it? Like bottom on the bottom middle,
No,
it's saying DNP. I don't know what
no.
DNP means, but yeah.
Does not pass. It's
Does
got the
not pass. Oh, there it is.
yeah, if
Yeah,
you look
got you.
underneath, it's got the
Mm-hmm.
boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So the light
Okay.
So the really good ones are the AAA
Mm-hmm.
ones. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the pink on brown.
Mm-hmm.
And what else have we got? Yeah, your brown on the light pink. So those are
Mm.
the two best ones. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got pass large text only, which are the green, the weird, I want to say yellow, but that's not yellow. Whatever color that is.
Mm. So then if I make the text large,
Yeah.
okay, I'll see, yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? So then when I'm designing a social preview, I could be like, okay, like I'm fine to do green with a white text. I'm fine to do pink with the green text. I won't do the bright pink on the green because you
Right.
can't read it. I'm fine to do a brownie text on the pink. Yeah, so interesting. Look at that. And it
It
is
is.
actually hurting my eyes to look at it a bit, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot to look at. And I think this is it. Like, we don't want things to be overcomplicated. So when I learned branding, and then like this was literally a half-day course, it was about like three elements, like a base element and then two accents. And I was like, I've just always sort of stuck with that because it's like
Yeah.
that's a happy rule for me. Um, but I think that is sometimes problematic, isn't it, for people when they start adding in more things and it's like that's just too hard to look at it then
Yeah.
now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amy from Studio Cotton talks about it a
Yes.
lot. And I sent you the link to one of her Instagram posts.
Yeah, we're
Um,
here.
yeah, she's actually
Look,
got loads of really helpful stuff on her website.
yeah, that's wild, because I do see that. I've seen that somewhere
Mhm.
before, that neon green. Yeah, like that, my eyes just feel happier with that. And then you can see we've already reached non-accessible territory. Yeah, yeah. Well, she seems very cool. I'm very excited
Yeah,
about
she
looking at
is.
her stuff, and you guys should be as well because I think this stuff. Oh, there it is. There's the special chart contrast grid that we've just been looking at. Yeah. So if you the color pick eyedropper, it's spelt color the American way, and that's how I always like learn what colors things are. If you're watching and you've been part of the course, I always teach to start a Pinterest board and throw everything at it so you can actually know what you like. If you've got a
Mhm.
favorite mug, like get the color of that mug in there, like just get it all in there together and then work out, okay, like what do I like and what can feature as part of my professional brand on Substack. So sometimes it's about separating out like yeah, I really love glitter, but I don't know how to use glitter in a word mark. Like that just feels too tricky or something. So you can build that stuff up over time. But yeah, that's really amazing to think about. Good. Okay, so we've done that bit. What else do we need? I think we talked a little bit, didn't we, about email design and how when something
Yeah.
lands in your email inbox, it's different to when people click on the Substack publication, the Substack website. So, what I was saying to Joanne is, I've never used an email banner because every time I tried to design one in Canva, it looked shocking, like it was so bad. And I was like, do you know what? It's clean, it's fine, I don't need it. However, we do have that banner image space, and it can be really helpful, like for us to like reaffirm, like it's us writing to you, or it could be like a
Yeah.
seasonal banner that changes. So it's only that I haven't had the design expertise that I haven't taken it further. So I wondered if you did have any thoughts on that, Joanne.
I would definitely look at adding one, because they help the reader to know exactly who is emailing them, helps to build recognition, and it generally looks more professional, I think.
Yeah.
At a minimum, you could just include a logo of some
Hmm.
sorts, but you could also include the name of a newsletter. So, for example, mine is called Notes from the Studio.
Hmm.
Um, but there's no need to complicate it. Just keep it simple, keep it on brand, keep it recognizable with you. So your fonts, your colors, your brand elements, your voice logo, etc. Just don't overdo it. It doesn't need to be anything complicated.
Hmm. So what I could even do is just try a bit of sparkle and then have really like quite maybe quite small sparkle on Substack because it'll say
Mhm.
sparkle on Substack, but maybe it just reaffirms with the green and pink. I could try that. It'll probably look rubbish, but I'm gonna be brave. And try some of these things out. And remember, guys, this is all like stuff that you can add in as you go. So don't feel like you need to have all of this ready to go when you first launch. Like the most important thing is about connecting with your audience. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't
that's
have
really good.
a proper email header until recently.
Hmm.
Before I think I started the notes from the studio last year, but before that I just used my logo, and then
Hmm.
I had a picture at the top which was different.
Hmm.
Well, I had my logo, and then I think then I had a title and a picture, and the picture
Hmm.
was different and the title was different every time, but the logo was always the same, so people knew
Okay.
it came from
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
I just changed it to notes from the studio because it's a bit more like you knew what you was getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really nice title. Yeah. Um, Fab. And then sometimes people will put like a little signature. So I'm working with a client at the moment, and she has like a lovely signature. I'll show you, which is really lovely to do. And I've seen people do some of this, and sometimes it looks good, other times it's a bit off. So sometimes people put it in the center rather than align it to the left. And I think I'm not quite sure about that. It feels like it should be on the left to me, but I might be just being really picky. Um, but I'll show you how Catherine's works on this page that we've got together. And I think it just adds that personal touch,
Hmm.
which is really nice. I've definitely not done one because I just write send in sparkles and then I write Claire and then I put a sparkle emoji underneath and like that is the brand. But if you did want to do one,
I think what I've done for mine, I think I either took the Joanne out of my logo, or something like that. Apart from I wrote Joanne, but I digitized it so it's nice and smooth, like
mm,
in the same kind of style as my logo.
okay.
And then so it's like that at the end because I think it adds a little bit more personality to it.
Hmm. Yeah, if you want to do that. So I really like Kat's. It's lovely. She has got this one I've got here is obviously solid white background, but hers is a white publication. So it does, it wouldn't look like that unless you were reading in
Yeah.
dark mode, and then you're going to get the white box around
Yeah.
it. So
But you could clean that
um
off and make it transparent so it could sit on any color.
yes, yeah, I'll mention that to her. So that is just again like a really lovely thing to do. So getting back to where we want to go with all of this stuff, which is the brand toolkit. I'd said to Joanne, what I think would be really lovely for you guys is if you just have a draft post in your Substack or a Google Doc where you're just dumping stuff in. So you might have a link to your Pinterest board, you might have your hex codes, you might have your page breaks that you really like, and you're just sort of building up a picture of how this brand all fits together. And then if you do want to commission illustrations or any graphic design, or if you want to go and buy some illustrations, like I bought the Joy one, okay, like this is going to fit, like this is all going to look together really cohesive. And you've also got that for if you're doing a website or if you want to, do anything on your social media that links back to your newsletter as well. Is there anything else you wanted to say on like brand toolkit stuff, Joanne, that's helpful to like compile for people?
So what I would expect to be sent is basically what you've just said is the
Mhm.
logo, the any sub marks, your colors. If it's for web, will need to be RGB. If you intend to print on have anything printed, then it'll be CMYK. Um, and then we've talked about how to get your color codes. So you can do your color dropper like you've got there. I think
Mm.
you can color drop in Canva,
Mhm.
or if you have Photoshop, that's really easy to do. Or you can use a website called imagecolorpicker.com where
Mhm.
you can just drag the color picker on and it will tell you all the codes you need. And you'd also need your fonts and any other like decorative icons that you might use. When you're coming to like talk to design about what you want, it's a good idea to have what you want to have made, any
Mhm.
dimensions that we might need,
Mhm.
any brand guidelines, like any do's or don'ts for colors, fonts, or anything that you want to keep, um, any copy that you want included, and if there's any direction towards what you want it to look like, that can be ideas that you already have, or it can be a Pinterest board of things that you like, or anything like that, really.
Great. Yeah. And like, you could use Emma Gannon's as an example and be like,
Mhm.
I'd love it to be as cohesive as this, as like professional, as fun, as readable. You could say that as well, couldn't you? Like, I'm really inspired by this. Like you can say where you want to go with that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, great. That's really cool. I actually took a photo of an iced coffee bottle last week when I took my kids to the soft play. I was like, I really like the font on that, but for like no reason because it's not like I'm like looking at changing any fonts or anything, but when you just like, I really like that. So if you find yourself being a bit of a magpie like me, it might be that you've already got some ideas or you can start to notice in that way and it can really feel like you. So the way that branding enables us to feel connection to the person is like really special. It can feel like a really beautiful thing, or it can feel like, oh, it's red and so I need to pay attention, or you can really kind of work with the different colors to help people to feel different emotions as well. If you look up color psychology, there's loads of good stuff written about that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the other page that we was going to touch on was the welcome page as well.
Yeah,
That
that's a
is
really good point. I would have forgotten.
essentially
Thank you for
the
that.
the first thing that people are going to see when they're prompted to subscribe. So
Yeah,
it's also a great place to add a little bit of personality and bring in your brand elements there too.
yeah.
Um, you make it interesting. What are you about? What can people expect from you? It's a great place to add your logo, your favorite brand image, a photo of you, your logo, or it's essentially just telling people what your brand is about. And if you're
Mhm.
creative, then you can always add some of your work. It doesn't have to be anything like complicated, just make it all about what you have to offer.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
So I tend to just use a photo because again, same thing. Like I tried a little bit in Canva and I didn't like what I'd designed. So I'm just like, I'm just going to use a photo. So for me, this photo is like the messiness of motherhood and it's all going on. It's got absolutely nothing to do with design your homepage in 7 days, the next challenge that's coming next week, but it is that connection to me. So for me, it's like, oh yeah, like Claire's there, like she's doing all of this behind the scenes and like weaving it in and stuff. So that's how I do it. And then you can pull through these lovely quotes that people leave you, these blurbs, when they recommend your Substack as well. There are some really beautiful examples. So all you would do is, I don't know whether I can do it if I'm already subscribed to someone, but let me try. You just type the word welcome, basically. Yeah. So you type the word welcome and then you can see what others have got. So Emma's got a logo again, and she's got the fact it's really tiny, but that she was a Substack featured publication in 2023. And then a little bit of blurb about it. She doesn't have any blurbs pulled through for whatever reason. She just keeps that really clean. Again, boundaries, like bold and boundaries. It's like, this is Emma. There's nothing else you need to know. So I really like that about her. But you could look at what anybody's got really, and see what you like. I can't even remember what I've got on Sparkle now. Oh yeah, a notebook. So notebook and coffee, dream, inspire, create. You can barely see it, but it is that lovely gold font that I like, and that kind of like handwritten font. And then I haven't changed these in a while, but the blurbs are sort of reinforcing what I'm saying here. So it is good to think how the image can work for you, like how hard that image can work, because my images aren't really working hard for me. They're just reinforcing my brand. And they probably could work a bit harder. I could probably have something in them, but I think I just get lost with that, so I don't do anything.
Yeah, you could always as well make yourself a template. where you can change the image but have some like tiny graphics like around the edge or something like that so that when you do change it, you still got all your brand elements there as well.
Mm. That sounds good. Yeah. And so this will be what people see before they subscribe. They can also, so this enables them to see everything without subscribing. So obviously I've been a bit cheeky with mine and people just put no thanks, but I've put like give me the sparkle. So if they click that and they don't click subscribe, they're going to basically get into here without having to subscribe. And then they won't be subscribed, so they won't receive anything in the email inbox. So I think you do have to be quite savvy about trying to encourage people to subscribe. And I always say this, but this is why I'll have a subscribe button at the top. You can't see it here, it says subscribed, but there'll always be a subscribe button in the top paragraph because if they've gone through from that welcome page and not hit subscribe, you've then got another chance to catch them there and then they'll subscribe there and that'll all be tethered to their profile on Substack. So just to sort of let you know like how that bit of it all works if you hadn't quite realized what was going on there. There's people who are saying to me now, like I want people to be subscribed before they can read anything. And I'm like, the only way you do that is monetize it. You can't. It is just open source now, unless you're going to put a paywall in. It didn't used to be. You used to have to put your email address in, but Substack changed it because obviously they wanted more people signing up. So yeah. Oof, well, that was loads. I feel like we've covered loads to you.
Yeah, we have. I think we've covered everything I had on my list.
Good. That's really good. And Joanne and I were talking before because Joanne currently uses Flowdesk, which I love. I love to receive a Flowdesk email, but it is a paid for service. So with Substack, it is free to use and you can design everything up the way that you want, but you can't send nurture sequences and you can't tag your audiences in Substack. So it's just about being really clear about how you want to set things up for yourself. And then if you've got a business, how you want another email service provider to kind of tether to your Substack and what you want that to be. So I always talk about it in terms of this like hub, this publication, this digital magazine, and enabling people to feel like it's like deeper than just a newsletter. You can, of course, send a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter from there dead easily, but we're trying to encourage people to spend more time inside of our Substack publication. So all the work that I do and why I wanted to work with Joanne is because she's really magical with our branding and I really love our style. And I was like, if I could commission Joanne and like help her to understand what I'm trying to do, like maybe people will just have a more sparkly time at Sparkle on Substack. So that's what we're thinking. So watch this space for all of that. But thank you so much for your time today, Joanne. It's been amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.